The Bar Association of Sri Lanka has strongly condemned yesterday's incident where an accused who was brought to the High Court in Colombo was abducted in broad daylight within the precincts of the courts. A communique issued by the Bar Association states that the culture of impunity inherent in these abductions should be stopped by the law enforcement authorities, as it reflects a serious erosion of the law and order in the country. The release adds that the association urges the law enforcement authorities to ensure that this incident is investigated and steps be taken immediately to rein in this type of conduct and bring the perpetrators to justice without delay. The Bar Association states that it takes very serious notice of this incident and hopes such incidents will not occur in the future.
A writ petition was filed today at the Polonnaruwa High Court in the North Central Province seeking justice for 71 children who have been denied their right to education as a result of the Madirigiriya National School not admitting students to grade 1 this year. The petition filed by the parents of the 71 children cites the principal of the Madirigiriya National School, the Hinguragoda Zonal Education Director, the North Central Province Director of Education and the North Central Province Education Secretary as respondents. Now, the children who gained admission to school on the 16th of January and have as yet been unable to attend are residents within the Madirigiriya urban limits. The petition, which was filed in court today, states that it is unfair to force these children to attend rural schools for which they have no transport facilities because the Madirigiriya National School is being developed under the 1000 Secondary Schools program. The petition also states that while the second respondent, the Hinguragoda Zonal Education Director, had informed the first respondent, the principal of the Madirigiriya National School, to admit these children to grade 1, the principal had disregarded this. When Action TV exposed for the third time the plight of these children on the 6th of January, a councillor from the ruling party in the North Central Provincial Council stated that this has come about due to unnecessary political interference. If there are those who are unaware of these politicians or anyone else, then they must know about it. Officials must bring that circular and clearly state that this can be done. One cannot work with officials who are scratching the backs of some politicians. This is the truth. Nevertheless, Polonnaruwa High Court Judge Amendra Seneviratne stated today that she would announce if an injunction would be issued and if notices will be issued on the respondents when court reconvenes on the 29th of this month. Action TV will keep a close watch on the developments.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa, says that if rulers are allowed to engage in fraud and corruption, it is the public who will have to face the consequences. He expressed this view while attending a function in Mahava Kaikavala today.
The public has been burdened with a fuel price increase in order to cover up losses that have been incurred as a result of theft, fraud and corruption. I hope that people will begin to understand what is going on and realize the direction in which the country is heading. If the people allow rulers to engage in theft, fraud and corruption, it is the people themselves who will have to suffer. You will have to face the consequences of the decisions taken by you. The 161st phase of the Sasunataruna program was carried out at the historic Mahava Kaikavala Raja Mahavihara yesterday. Deputy Leader of the United National Party Sajith Premadasa made a financial donation to the temple.
General Secretary of the Citizens Front, Parliamentarian J. Sri Ranga, states that international intervention takes place because there is a lack of unity amongst the people of the country. The parliamentarian expressed this view at a function held at Ananda College, Colombo yesterday.
Parliamentarian J. Sri Ranga was the chief guest at a function which was held to launch 2 school newspapers titled Sirisara Sangamam and Panhinda.
අපේ ආගම ඇතුළත් අපේ භාෂාව ඇතුළත්
There was no unity within our religion, our language, our people. That is why there is international interference. Someone asked me why we are always saying that there is international interference. And they said our problem is that we are not together. If we are together, then there will be no room for international interference. Why don't we think about this? People talk of ethnicity and religion for political mileage. However, there isn't a single religion, Buddhist or Hindu, which says we should harass others.
Buddhist වේවා, Hindu වේවා, කිසිම ආගමක් කියන්නේ අනිත් මිනිසුන්ට හිණගරක් කරන්න කියලා.
The first ever Asia-Africa Telecom Regulatory Conference is being held in Colombo. The conference, being held today and tomorrow, has been organized jointly by the Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization and the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka.
Representatives from Asian and African nations are participating in this conference. Senior Minister of International Monetary Cooperation, Dr. Sarath Amunugama, was the chief guest at the conference.
In Sri Lanka, the telecommunication penetration is very high. It's over 100%. But broadband has failed to keep up. Its penetration is very low, less than 5% subscribers and less than 25% users. Despite the rapid increase in the broadband subscribers in the recent past, the TRCL has taken a number of measures to recently ensure expeditious rollout of high-speed broadband services in the country and to stimulate its growth. As a result of that, we were able to increase the broadband connection in the country from 250,000 in 2009 to over 900,000 now.
Speaking at the conference, Senior Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama expressed these views with regard to the regulation of the private sector.
You have to deregulate and let the private sector do that job. How can the government run hotels? How can the government run taxis? How can the government run buses? How can the government give telephone connections? I mean, this is weird. In the modern world, why can't we allow the private sector, which can employ top-class people, which can afford to pay them, which can have access to the latest technology? Why don't we give them a free hand? They are as patriotic, I would think, as many of our bureaucrats. So our job is to allow the fast runners to do the running and not to pull them back, and make sure that the regulatory bodies play a supporting role. We all like to be prima donnas, but for that we have to learn to sing.
United National Party parliamentarian Karu Jayasuriya participated at a function in the Bibile area today.
This function was held at the Madagama Sadda Lankara Vidyartha Pirivena in Bibile to distribute certificates to the winners of the 2012 annual Sunday School competition. There is still inadequate acceptance from the people towards Sunday schools in this country. The teachers who teach at Sunday schools also do not receive the necessary acceptance. If we are to restore this country to its former glory, we need to create a well-mannered and disciplined society. We constantly believe that there is a better religious environment in Pirivenas compared to schools. Therefore, we believe that the government should be more considerate towards the Pirivenas.
A body was discovered near Torrington Lane in Colombo 7 this morning. According to police media spokesperson SP Ajit Rohana, the body was discovered following a tip-off. The magisterial inquest was carried out this morning. When inquired, the police media spokesperson said the body is currently lying at the police morgue. The deceased individual is yet to be identified.
The commemorative event of the 75th anniversary of the Sri Lankan Red Cross Society was held at the BMICH in Colombo yesterday.
D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial Scholarships were awarded to 250 low-income families at the 75th anniversary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Red Cross. Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa was the chief guest at the event.
ජනතාවට සමීප
I can state without fear that among all high-level non-government organizations, the one that is closest to the people and which has a local identity is the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society. I most respectfully reminisce that the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society and all Red Cross societies across the world have acted in a humanitarian manner without impinging upon their dignity.
ක්‍රියා කරපු බව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සිහිපත් කරන්න ඉතාම ගෞරවයෙන්